Okay, so we're recording. I'm going to go straight to sharing my screen. Hopefully it works. And I'm going to go over the syllabus that I have emailed all of you, if I can get to it. Okay, so I sent you an email for the syllabus. So the syllabus is on the email. You should have it. I'll be going over it right now. Okay, the textbook looks like this. Okay, so Pre-Calculus by Cohn, Lee, and Sklar. Okay, now you can get it from the CSM bookstore, or if you find something better online, or if you want to rent it or buy it used, that's perfectly okay with me. If you absolutely say, I just can't afford to buy the textbook, okay, then guess what? The whole semester, I will show you something like this, right? I'll show you key pages. I'll show you pages of the homework. Okay, so if you want to just get the homework that way and you never want to buy the book, that's okay by me. I realize books are expensive. Okay, so even today, when we're doing what, 1.1, I guess, I'll show you all the homework from 1.1 and show you key pages. I'll do that for the whole semester. So if you never want to buy the book and just want to go off of the pages that I show you, that's perfectly fine by me. Okay, good deal. All right, so I'll hit the highlights of this. I'm not going to go over everything, but some of it doesn't apply because we're not meeting face to face. When I originally made this, it was under the assumption we were face to face, or the last time I taught the class was face to face. Obviously, we're not. There's my office at CSM. We're obviously not there, so forget about that. You can always email me. I also teach at City College of San Francisco, CCSF, so you can email me at either address. Almost every semester, one or the other is down, so to be absolutely safe, you can send it to either one, or you can email me on Canvas also. Okay, my office hours are 8 to 9 by Zoom appointment. Okay, before our class, Monday to Friday, 10 to 11 by Zoom. I sent you the Zoom links for that, if you want that. And Friday, 11 to 1. So you know our class is Monday through Thursday, so Friday will be office hour. Office hours are always optional. You never have to come to office hours if you want to. You're not required to, but if you need extra help, you may. Okay, so I'll run through a lot of this stuff real quickly. So there's the title. Here's when we meet, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 1. It's a combination of trig and pre-calculus. There's a name of the textbook, so you can find it at the CSM bookstore or elsewhere. And this is what it looks like. This is being recorded. Sorry, there's a little bit of a glare there. There we go. But this is what it looks like. If I'm going too fast, don't forget this is all recorded. Okay, student learning outcomes. You can read this or not. I'm legally required to put it. So there it is. In case you say, what are we covering in this class? This is what we're covering in this class. Okay, so you can read it or not read it. That's completely up to you. Okay, here's our protocol. So you're expected to attend class every day. Have your textbook, scientific calculator. You can't just have a 4-function calculator. You need a scientific calculator or a graphing calculator. Okay, so here's a scientific calculator. It should have logs with it, sine, cosine, tangent, logs, and all this stuff. You cannot just have a 4-function calculator. Okay, if you have a graphing calculator like this, that's okay, but we're not going to use the graphing part of the calculator. Okay, so in other words, I'm not requiring you to have a graphing calculator, and I strictly speaking, don't want you to use a graphing calculator for a lot of this, because a lot of our classes we're going to be graphing. So, you know, if all you do is just punch the function into your calculator, you can graph it and you're done. But, you know, I want you to be able to think, not just, you know, put down what your graphing calculator has. Okay, so you're expected to attend class every day. Now, the chat has, the chat has the time that you join and when you leave also. So you're contracting with me that you're going to be in class 11:10 to 1 every day. Don't worry, a lot of times we'll finish early, and I'll let you know whenever that happens. But I can see if you join late. I can see if you leave early also. Okay, so that's one of the nice things about Zoom. So if you joined at 11:05, I know that. If you join at 11:10, or you join at 11:30, I know that. And if you decide to skip out early, if you leave at 12:15, I know that. If you stay until 1 o'clock, I know that too. Okay, so you're supposed to be here the whole time. That's what we're contracting for. And if you don't, I can count it as an absence. Okay, so you're supposed to be here, what, 11:10 to 1 p.m. every Monday through Thursday, unless it's a holiday, or unless I let you guys leave early. okay, which will happen a lot of time, which I think will happen today, which I think will happen quite a bit of the time. Okay, and in fact, we're encouraged to do that, especially during this environment, the COVID situation. That I try not to lecture the whole time. Okay, now if you have a reason for an absence or coming late or leaving early, just give me a reason. I'll accept almost any reason, okay, COVID or non-COVID related, whatever. I'll accept almost any reason. But if you don't give me a reason, then you lose points. Okay, what happens in a typical class meeting? There's lecture, okay, maybe an in-class work. Like I said, that will happen a lot of the time. I plan to have something today. You just put the answer in the chat. Okay, there'll generally be a weekly quiz or an exam. Okay, I put Friday. Of course, that's not Friday. It's Thursday. I made a boo-boo here. It's a mistake. Okay, but we can just look quickly at the calendar. Every Thursday is a quiz or an exam. So even this week, Thursday quiz, Thursday quiz, Thursday exam, quiz, exam, every Thursday. Okay. Oh, by the way, there's a mistake on the calendar already, so please mark this. Thursday, the 22nd of April is actually going to be, we don't meet that day. It's a CSM flex day. So I'll move the quiz to Wednesday, the 21st. Okay, so this doesn't exist. It's a flex day. I checked on the calendar, so I'll move that over here. And by the way, you say, what is buffer day? Is that a holiday? No, it's not. I put buffer days in case I mess up, I fall behind, my computer goes down. Last semester when I taught on Zoom, my computer was down for a whole week, so I couldn't teach for a whole week. So I had to spend the rest of the semester trying to catch up. Okay, so as you can see, I have a lot of buffer days at the end, but that's just in case I fall behind on something. Okay, so you can see I plan to do a section or section and a half every day. Okay, so I was hoping to do 1.1 today. So even though it says 2 sections, it's meant to be a section and a half. I see 1.1 and 1.1, 1.2, right? So we'll see how it goes. Okay. So look at every Thursday, either a quiz or an exam. So be ready for that. All right, let's see. This paragraph doesn't really apply. I'll just say what it basically talks about. Don't disturb the class, but that's if we were meeting face to face. There's almost no way you can disturb the class as long as you're muted. Okay, so if you mute yourself, I don't really care what happens behind you. You can have your dog or cat going on, or your brother or sister making noise, or whatever. Okay, as long as you're muted, that's fine by me. Okay, a lot of this is legal. I'll just tell you what it is. I'm supposed to put it. There's a paragraph on sexual harassment. There's a paragraph on equity. You can read it or not. Okay, but I'm supposed to put it, so there, I put it. Okay, attendance. Okay, if you have 4 or more unexcused absences, I can drop you from the class. That was my policy if we met face to face. That's still my policy here. But again, if you have a reason, just let me know. Okay, so you're supposed to be in class, and I don't really like it if you keep showing up late or you keep leaving early either. Remember, I can tell the time you join and the time you leave from the chat. Okay, so please keep that in mind. So if you have an excused absence, I give you 24 hours. Just let me know. Okay, so let me know about that. Okay, there's something called effective absence. It doesn't really apply too much for us now, but you can read it. It still holds, still true. Okay, so effective absence, I'll just say quickly, you're here, but you're not really here. That's how I define it. You're not paying attention, or you're goofing off, or you never participate. That can be considered an effective absence. All right, continuing on with the syllabus. Homework, here's the key thing. There's homework almost every class meeting. The homework will be collected every exam day. Only when we have a test do you turn in the homework. Okay, so you don't have to turn in the homework day by day or even week by week. This was on the syllabus. Okay, you just turn it in exam by exam. Now, you don't have to wait for me to say, should I do the homework? When am I doing the homework? As I do that section, you do the homework. Okay, so if you look at the schedule, right? It says we're supposed to do 1.1 today. So you automatically get started with the 1.1 homework. I will end up doing a lot of these problems in class anyway. Okay, so guess how I lecture? I lecture by doing a lot of the problems from the homework. I might end up doing 1/3 of it or a half of it. So every problem I do, that's one less problem you have to do. Okay, good deal. So that's the way that's going to work. All right, so that's what we see here. You don't have to turn in homework every day, only every exam. Okay. My rule is you have to complete at least 70% of the assigned homework in order for your exam to be graded. Okay, so what does that mean? Everything here, 1.1 to 1.7, that's the coverage for the first test. You don't have to turn that in. Oh, I'm sorry. The first test covers 1.1 all the way to 2.4, I'm sorry. Okay, that's when you turn in the homework. So first test will cover everything here. That's when you turn it in. You have to have at least 70% done. Okay, that does give me a little bit of a safeguard. So in other words, if you don't turn in homework, I don't grade your exam. Okay, I'll talk a little bit more about the exams now, but I'll just go ahead and say this up front. You know, I know, we all know, under this kind of circumstance, it's a lot easier to cheat on exams. We all know that. Okay, if we're face to face, I can walk around the classroom. I can kind of see, you know, okay, who's got extra stuff, who looks like they're trying to text a friend for an answer or whatever. Okay, that's a lot harder for me to do now. You know, I'm not that naive. I know people cheat, and I know there's various ways to cheat. Okay, and it's a lot easier to cheat under this circumstance. So you have to submit the homework. Okay, that does give me a little bit of a safeguard. You might be able to get somebody to help you cheat on the test, but you're much less likely to find someone to cheat for you and is willing to do all the homework for you, right? Okay, and these are not on Canvas. Okay, the only thing I do on Canvas is give my Canvas announcement. These are all done on pen and pencil. Okay, I want to see how you write, okay, and that's the reason why I want to see your faces. I want to see what you look like, so I know what you look like when it comes time for exams. But now that I've started lecturing, you can turn your cameras off. Okay. I do look at the homework. I don't look at the homework carefully, but I do want to see your handwriting, right? And say, the person's handwriting for the homework doesn't seem to match the handwriting on the exam, right? Okay, so if you had someone else do the homework and someone else did the test, I get very suspicious, right? So that's another reason for this. You must do at least 70% of the homework. By the way, always show your work. Okay? When you turn in your homework, when you turn in a quiz, when you turn in an exam, show all your work. Now, granted, there are some answers that are just yes or no, true, false, function, not a function, right? Yes, no. But other than that, show me all your steps. Okay, I'll demonstrate that in class. You know, everything that I do, you do the same thing, so to speak. Okay, quizzes. A lot of this doesn't apply, sorry, because we're not meeting face to face. Here are the key things about quizzes. And I think I put this in the emails I sent earlier. Okay, so quizzes. So at the end of class on Thursdays, I will stop. I'll just say, okay, here are 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever quiz questions, and I'll put you in the breakout rooms. Okay, so quizzes will be on breakout rooms, spring 2021, here we are. Okay, there's no makeup or reschedule quizzes, but you get to drop 1 out of every 4 quizzes. Okay, and all quizzes combined is 100 points. So you can help each other out. Open book, open note, open discussion. So that's what I mean. If you keep your cameras off, it's kind of weird to talk to somebody and you can't even see their face. But that's up to you. I'm not making you turn your cameras on. I would encourage you to have your cameras on during the quiz. I just think it's a little bit strange if you have cameras off and you're discussing how to do the homework, or how to do the quizzes, rather. Okay, so whenever we have a quiz, of which the first one is Thursday, so I'll stop at a certain time, due at 1 o'clock at the end of class. Okay, you will all work on the same problems, everybody in your group. So you put your name, you put everybody in your group's name. So put down your name and Mary and John and Joe and Jane and whoever else in your group. Put all your names in your breakout room. Okay. But when it comes time to grading, I will pick just one person in your group and I'll grade that one. Okay. So whoever's the A student can't just, you know, write down what's on your paper. You've got to make sure everybody else in your group gets the same answers down, because I might decide to grade, you know, that other person's paper, and you're all going to get the same score. So hopefully all 3 or 4 of you put the same thing on the paper. So if I decide to pick anybody's quiz, then, you know, it's all equivalent, right? So you want to try to get the same thing written down on every quiz, is the way I'm saying. Okay, participation is worth 100 points. It's pretty easy to get the full credit on participation. Just don't skip out of class. Don't do something I don't like. Keep yourself muted, obviously, unless you want to say something during class. When I give a question to answer, I want you to answer it, and I'm not going to gotcha. It's not I got you. You're not going to lose points if you give the wrong answer, but I want you to at least try, right? The thing you don't want to do is not put anything. Give it a try. Okay, exams. There are 6 exams. Okay, we already know the dates of all of them. Okay, so Thursday 2/4, Thursday 2/25, Thursday 3/11, and so on. So 6 exams, and then a final exam, which is on Monday, May 24th, 11:10 to 1:40. Okay, the questions are just like the homework. I don't give trick questions. I don't give surprise questions. Okay, you can use a calculator for the exams. You're allowed 1 formula sheet. Okay, so 8.5 by 11, just like this sheet of paper. You can put down any formulas that you want. I'll even encourage you to write some stuff down. Okay, so you can cheat a little bit, so to speak. I'll let you put down some stuff. Okay, but other than that, 1 cheat sheet, you can't use, any person, any other computer. Can't look stuff up on the internet and so on. And yes, I realize it's hard for me to proctor that, but I'm going to try. And I put this down also here if you've read this before. So yeah, you can't use your cell phone to text somebody for an answer, any other communication device. Okay, if you're found cheating, you obviously get a 0. Okay, now here's something else. I reserve the right to ask you for an oral follow-up on Zoom for your exam, and I might decide to weigh your oral exam more heavily than the written exam. Okay, so you turn in a test, and I'm suspicious. This does not look like your writing, or what you put in the homework doesn't match what you put on the test, or it looks like somebody different wrote the homework and the exam. Okay, so I might call you out on that and say, okay, Joe, I want to speak with you on Zoom. Show me how you did question 5 on the test, or show me how you did problem 8, Mary, on the test. Okay, and so you don't worry, you'll know ahead of time if I suspect that. Okay, so you'll have time for that. But if you can't explain to me what you did, then I might decide to grade the written exam lower than the oral exam. Okay, I'm only going to do that if I suspect cheating. Okay, so if you're not cheating, you have nothing to worry about. Okay, but if you are cheating and I get suspicious of you, I might call you out. I don't think you really did this, or your writing on your homework doesn't match the writing on your test, or the stuff you wrote doesn't make any sense, or the stuff that you wrote, we didn't go over that in class. It looks like you got that from somebody else. I might call you out on that. Okay, so you have to be ready for that. Disability, if you have a documented disability from DRC, let me know. Okay, extra credit, there isn't any. This was meant to be if we had met on campus, but we're not, so don't worry about it. Extra help. Okay, the Math Resource Center, 18202, we're obviously not doing that, but I did send you something over Canvas announcements. You can actually, there's a virtual Math Resource Center. So look on your Canvas announcements. I already sent it today if you need extra help on campus. Seating, obviously that doesn't apply. Sometimes I make a seating chart when we meet face-to-face. That isn't going to happen, so don't worry about that. And a final exam. Okay, so there's a 300-point comprehensive final exam. The final will be similar in content to the other exams. And you should think of the final exam as 3 100-point exams, so to speak. So there's really, it's almost like 9 exams, 6 regular exams, and 3 100-point exams in the final, and you get to drop 1. So here's the grade breakdown. Here's the date of our final. So Monday, May 24th, 11:10 to 1:40. So 800 points on tests, 100 on quizzes, 100 on participation. Total is 1,000 points. And here's my breakdown for the grades for A, A minus, B plus, B, and so on. So 90%, 89% is an A minus, 88% is a B plus. You can read it. We're not allowed to give C minuses. There's no C minus grade in case you're wondering about C minus. So you have to get at least 70% to get a C in the course. Okay. All right, so that's the syllabus. I've gone over the syllabus. Okay. Here's our schedule. It's tentative. Very rarely do I keep the schedule exact as it is. Sometimes I fall behind, sometimes I get ahead. That's why I have so-called buffer days every now and then. And also in case I mess up the schedule, I already messed up the schedule for Thursday, 4/22. So again, move that over to the quiz will be on Wednesday that day because we don't meet on that Thursday. So here's the tentative schedule. Here's all the homework for the entire semester. Notice it's mostly odd. and the odd answers are in the back of the book. Okay, so the first exam isn't until Thursday, February the 4th. So it looks like it'll cover chapters 1 and 2. So that means you will turn in everything from here to here. Now, once in a while, I might say, oh, I don't really like that problem, throw it out. Okay, but I might say, oh, I like this problem, put that one in. Okay, but this is pretty much the homework. This is 95% of the homework that we're going to do for the entire semester. Okay, here it is. So there's no surprise. You don't have to wonder, what's the homework? It's on the syllabus. So if you look in the syllabus that I emailed everybody, it's there. Okay, Canvas. There's nothing much you need to do on Canvas except I'll be sending stuff through Canvas announcements. Okay, but you don't have to submit anything on Canvas. Okay, homework you submit by just taking a picture. So just get your, when it comes to exams, just get your cell phone and click, 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 take a picture or scan your homework. And same thing for the test. I'll send you the test and then just click, 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 and send or scan it and send me an email for the exams whenever we have exams also. Okay. So that's pretty much what's happening there. Anytime when I'm lecturing, if you want to put something in the chat, you may. And Star, if you could help me out with some questions, Star can help me with that too. And Star can also go around doing quizzes and help you if anybody needs help there. Okay, so I know some of you have questions in the chat. I'll look at that. Does anybody want to unmute and say anything right now and have a question? Otherwise, I'll look at the chat also. Okay, so let me stop the share for the time being so I can see the chat. Okay, so let me look at the chat. So bear with me on this. And everything should be recorded. So we have all of this. Okay, so it should. Yeah, if you don't hear me call you, you can put that in the chat also. Okay, Terry, I got you. Okay, got you. And yes, my mic sounds bad sometimes. I know that happens a lot. I can't do anything about it, but that's that weird crackling. Yes, sorry. I think you can still quote unquote get it to a certain part. Okay, I see a lot of you are saying the same thing. Okay, all right, I got that. Okay, and Justin, I got your note there. Okay, do we complete on Google form? Okay, so when you submit stuff, the easiest for me, again, is just write on a piece of paper, just like we were meeting face to face. If we met face to face, you would just write stuff and I'd give you exams and quizzes, you just write stuff, okay, and then just take a picture on your cell phone, click, 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 and just email it to me. Okay. The schedule is not on Canvas. The schedule is, well, it's all here, of course. Look in your syllabus. The syllabus has the schedule and the list of the homework assignments. Okay. And how do you get the textbooks? Many ways you can get it from the CSM bookstore. You can find it online. Okay. Or if you never want to buy the book, I'll just show you everything, as needed too. Okay. And let's see. I think I've caught up with the chat. Okay. All right, I think I've caught up, but I'm not sure we'll get that. Okay, normally there'll be a break halfway through class. Okay, I think this is a natural time to quote unquote break also. Usually it'll be around 12 o'clock, but I don't want to lecture for maybe 10 minutes and then stop and then start up again. So we'll break quote unquote now. Okay, so I have right now about 11:45. So let's break until 11:55. I'll actually start doing some math at that time, and we'll probably end a little bit early today also. Okay, so we'll go ahead and break until about 11:55, please. Okay, thank you. It looks like somebody just sent a link for the book. So thanks. I might disappear for a while also. I'll start up again in about a minute, folks. Okay, folks, it's 11:55, so I'm going to go ahead and start the lecture. All right, so if we look on the schedule, I'm trying to aim for 1.1. So homework is 1 to 53 odd. I will do a lot of the problems, okay? Maybe 1/3 or even up to a half of the problem. So every problem I do is one less you have to do. Okay. About taking notes, it's up to you if you want to take notes. Everything is being recorded, so you can look at it later. I will say, however, last semester, there were several days where the recording didn't work. So because the recording didn't work, there was no, looking back. So to be safe, you can go ahead and take notes. I guess taking notes is a safe way to do it. I mean, that's what you would have done if we met face to face, perhaps. So do the same thing. Oh, and the other thing, of course, is as I'm doing the problems, if you're taking notes, you're actually doing the homework. So that's one less homework problem you have to do. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Now you can go ahead and keep putting stuff in the chat, although I won't be able to look at it at the same time as now. But I'll look at it later, or again, maybe Star can help me with that if possible. Okay, so here are key ideas. And again, if you say, I never want to buy the book, I'll show you key pages. Okay, so page 2, we're doing sets of real numbers. So I'll be going over some of this, the natural numbers, the integers, the rational numbers, irrational numbers. Okay, and there's some examples there. Okay, so these are terms hopefully you've heard before. Okay, so what are the natural numbers? Okay, the counting numbers, 1, 2, 3, and so on. There's infinitely many of them. They give examples here, 1, 4, 29, 1066. Okay, and by the way, you say, there's no way I can remember all this stuff. Put it on your formula sheet. You can put this on your cheat sheet, although you only allowed one 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So both sides, you put whatever you want, but if you put too much, then there's not enough room for other stuff. Okay, so it's nice if you have it memorized. So the natural numbers, the first numbers we ever learned back in grade school, 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay. Now, if you include the negative of those numbers and 0, those are called integers. Okay. So integers are all these numbers, all their opposites, and 0. So example, negative 26, 0, 1, 1776. Okay. Those are integers. Okay. I'm noticing I have a hard time focusing, and sorry, the document camera they gave me doesn't have a focus screen. I noticed I can kind of focus if I move the book up and down, but I don't want to keep doing that because the book gets too heavy after a while. But sorry. So if I can't focus, there's nothing I can do about it unless I get a new document camera from school. But I can't go to school right now because, of COVID. So, all these things are kind of snowballing. But anyway, okay, rational numbers. Okay, rational, one thing you can think of is ratio, R-A-T-I-O. It's a fraction. What you normally think of as fractions. More specifically, the number can be written as a fraction. Okay, it's rational if a decimal expansion either terminates, it stops like 3.15, or repeats like 2.43434343. Okay, those are rational numbers. If you can write it as a fraction of two integers. 4 is rational because you can write it as 4 over 1. Negative 2/3, that's already a fraction. 1.7 is rational because you can write it as 17 over 10. 4.3, the bar means repeating. This means 4.1737373. Those are rational. Okay, so if you see a terminating or repeating decimal, It's rational. So what does it mean about irrational? Well, those are real numbers that are not rational. That means it doesn't terminate, but also does not repeat. Doesn't terminate, doesn't repeat. What weird numbers are like that? Well, most square roots, like square root of 2, pi, okay, we'll learn some other irrational numbers, but usually irrational numbers, or if you add a rational to an irrational, it's usually going to be irrational. Okay, those are considered irrational numbers. Okay, so we'll look at examples of these. Okay, plotting on a number line, I think you get the idea. We usually just put 0, 1, 2, 3. When we get to trig, we'll be doing some pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, negative 2 pi, and so on. Okay, so we'll be plotting stuff on a number line. Now, even weird numbers like the square root of 2, if you punch out the square root of 2 in a calculator, it's like 1.414. Okay, let me just see if I can show that to you quickly. So on my calculator, if I hit 2 and the square root button, 1.41421, blah, 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 it's an irrational number. So it's about 1.4. So notice they put it, between 1 and 2, a little bit less than halfway. Pi, you probably heard of pi is about 3.14. So they put it a little bit bigger than 3. Okay, so you can plot these on a number line. Okay, on page 2 still, open and close intervals. Okay, and for some reason the screen turns yellow every now and then. I don't know why, but okay. Open interval, we use parentheses, A to B. All real numbers such that X lies between A and B. That means numbers between A and B, not counting A, not counting B. Now they write it with parentheses. Okay, you can also write it with open circles. I like the open circles myself. Okay? That means you don't count the A, you don't count the B, but you count everything in between. Closed interval, you use brackets. So if you can't see it, there's a bracket there, A and B. Okay, it means all the numbers in between A and B, you also count A, you also count B. Okay, that's a closed interval. You can have one side open and one side closed. Okay, so let me show you some examples here. Notice they got bracket, bracket, parenthesis, bracket, or bracket, parenthesis. All of these are possible. Okay, so this one, bracket -1, 2, that's everything between -1 and 2, including -1 and 2. So there's a line underneath it. This one is parentheses -1, 2. Don't count -1, don't count 2. But both of these are half open. Okay, bracket means count the 2, but don't count the -1. So -1 is less than X, less than or equal to 2. Bracket -1, 2. -1 is less than or equal to X, less than 2. Okay, so that leads to these inequalities. I'm sure you've seen these before. A is less than B, A is less than or equal to B, B is greater than A, B is greater than or equal to A. So I'm not going to say that much about it because I'm pretty sure you've heard of that. And to give you some examples here. 2 is less than 3, -3 is less than -2, 3 is less than or equal to 3, right? 3 is greater than or equal to 3, 0 is greater than -1, and so on. Okay. Now, sometimes you have an interval which is unbounded. That means you go on to infinity or negative infinity. Okay. So this one, they've got a parenthesis 2, and they shade all the way to the right. Okay. You can write that as parenthesis 2, comma, infinity. Now, infinity is not a number. It's not a number. It just means all the numbers bigger than 2. Infinity and negative infinity, we always use parentheses. Okay, so notice this, negative infinity to infinity, that's another way of just saying all real numbers. You go forever to the left and you go forever to the right. So negative infinity to infinity, I think you've seen that before. Again, that's just all real numbers. Okay. All right, so some unbounded intervals, and then I'll do some homework problems. Okay, so X is greater than A, like X is greater than 2, going from 2 to infinity. Okay, so parenthesis A, comma, infinity. Okay. Bracket A, comma, infinity. If you're putting in a chat to focus, yeah, sorry, I can't focus on here. The only thing I can do is lift this book up or down, and focus gets a little bit better, but I can't hold the position forever. Okay, so starting at 2, go all the way to the right. X is greater than or equal to a. So bracket a to infinity. Now here's negative infinity. Negative infinity to a. Notice infinity and negative infinity always use parentheses. So x is less than a. So parenthesis negative infinity 2. And they have a parenthesis there. Negative infinity to bracket. That means you're counting 2. X is less than or equal to 2 in this particular case. And from negative infinity to infinity, that's all real numbers. That's everything that we have here. Okay, so here we go with the homework. Okay, it's 1 to 53 odd. Here are the problems. Okay, so again, you say, I never want to buy the book. I'll show you all the homework. Good deal. So there's that. It should be on the recording. And then up to 53. I'll try to aim it so you can focus better. Okay, there's that. And there's up to 53. Okay. All right, so that'll do it. Okay, now I will do a lot of these problems. Okay, so every problem I do is one less that you have to do. Okay. All right, so let's look at the directions. Determine if the number is a natural number, integer, rational number, or irrational number. Okay, some numbers fit more than one category. Okay. All right, now you don't feel like writing the whole thing. I don't feel like writing the whole thing. So let's abbreviate. Okay, so how about N for natural, I for integer, R for rational, and unfortunately, irrational also starts with an I. Okay, but I'll show you how we're going to write that. Okay, so let's have N for natural number, I for an integer. I take it back. I take back what I'm going to say. I'm going to use Q for a rational number because many books do that. So I'm not going to use R because R stands for real numbers. For irrational, I'm going to put Q. I'm going to say Q prime. The way we would say that is prime, even though it's an apostrophe. I'll use that for irrational number. Okay. Now, rational and irrational are mutually exclusive. That means it's either one or the other. So if a number is rational, it's automatically not irrational and vice versa. So it can't be both. So N for natural, I for integer, Q for rational, Q prime for irrational. Okay. So 1A has negative 203. Okay, so I'll write the problem down, negative 203. Okay, it's not a natural number. It is an integer. And it's also rational. You say, how do you know if it's irrational? If you see pi or square roots, it's probably going to be irrational. Okay, otherwise, it's going to be rational. All right. 3b says 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the 7th. Well, we can do the work on that. Okay, by the way, you might recall the subtraction law. I can go 6 minus 7, which is negative 1, 10 to the negative 1, which is equal to 1/10. Remember that from algebra? You can write it like that. So it's a fraction, which means it's rational. Okay, so it's not a natural number, not an integer. It is rational, though. Okay, so I'm going to use Q for rational. Okay. 5A, in case you're wondering, yes, these are problems right off the homework. So everyone I'm doing is one less you have to do. 8.74. And part B says 8.74 with a bar. Okay, it's not a natural number. What's a natural number? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Okay, it's not an integer. It is rational. it's a terminating decimal. So you might even call it terminating decimals or rational. Okay. Real numbers will either terminate or repeat. This one terminates, stops. This one repeats, so it's also rational. Okay. But it's none of the other guys. It's not natural, it's not integer, not irrational. Okay. 9. Square root of 5 plus 1 divided by 4. Aha, there's a square root. That automatically tells me it's going to be irrational. Okay, and by the way, once you have an irrational number, it's not going to be natural, it's not going to be integer, it's not going to be rational either. Okay. So that's that. All right, so I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 problems for you. If you look at the homework. So I'm really shortening your assignment, right? Okay, draw a number line similar to the one shown in figure 1 that indicates the approximate location of the given number. Okay, so you're probably going to need a calculator for this. Okay, and you say, I don't have a calculator today. That's all right. You can use maybe your cell phone calculator for now, if you wish. I'll be demonstrating this. But where do you graph these on a number line? Okay, I might as well just put them all in the same graph, I suppose. Okay, so I'll do a whole bunch of these. So this is problems 11 through 20. So maybe I'll do about 3 of them for you. And I hope I make my number line big enough. But let's just see. Okay, so if you're following what I'm doing, I'm just going to make a number line. Now, I don't know how big these numbers really are offhand. I'm just going to have a guess. I hope there's nothing that's bigger than maybe, I don't know, 5. So let me just go from -5 to 5. Okay, so put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Okay. Okay, question 11 is 11 over 4. Okay. 11 over 4. Well, if you divide that out, that's what? 2 3/4? 2.75. So that's between 2 and 3, but more than halfway, right? So I'll put it maybe somewhere like over there. 2.75. That's all. Not that big a deal. Okay, then something maybe better use my calculator for, right? 15. Oops, I didn't want that to be in blue, but anyway. 15, square root of 2 minus 1. Oh boy, square root of 2 minus 1. So on my calculator, I'm going to hit the square root of 2. So on this calculator, you have to hit 2 and then square root. 1.4, blah, blah, blah. Subtract 1, so minus 1.414. That's what I'm getting for the square root of 2 minus 1. I'll put squiggly equal 0.414. You guys know squiggly equal means approximately? Okay. All right, so 0.414, that's between 0 and 1, a little bit less than half. Okay, so I'll just go a little bit less than halfway. Maybe like around there. Square root of 2 minus 1, right? And maybe I'll just show you one more. 19. 1 plus square root of 2 divided by 2. 1 plus square root of 2 divided by 2. Okay, so let me start with the square root of 2 again. So I hit 2 square root. Okay, that's the square root of 2. Then plus 1. So So I add 1, 2.4, blah, blah, blah. And then I divide by 2. So divided by 2. 1.207. Okay. And by the way, if you have a fancier calculator like this, you can type it in all at one time. So I'll show you that. So parentheses 1 plus then square root button, which on my calculator is over here. Square root of, what was it, 2 divided by 2. Okay. So you have a more fancy calculator like this, so you can type the whole thing at once. So I'm not sure you can see it, but it's there. 1 plus square root of 2 divided by 2. And there's the same thing, 1.207, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so a little bit more than 1. So I'll plot that maybe like over here. So 1 plus square root of 2 divided by 2. Okay. That's that. All right, 21 to 30, do the same thing, only they have pi everywhere. We're going to do a lot of pi when we do trig. Okay, so get used to doing the same thing with pi. So pi is about 3.14. Now, you should have a calculator that has a pi button, as you can see here. Okay, there's a pi button there. And on this kind of calculator, there should be a pi. Now you say, what happens if I don't have a pi button? Oh, yeah, there's the pi button right there. Okay, you really should have a calculator that has a pi button. We need it to be very accurate. Okay, and just for fun, let me hit pi, and pops up 3.14159265359, blah, 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 right? Okay, we really need to have every single digit when we get to trig. Trig has a lot of pi there. Okay, so let me just do some more of these. Okay, so how about 21, pi over 2? I might as well keep the same number line. So where am I, 21? Okay, so pi divided by 2, 1.57. So that's a little bit more than halfway between 1 and 2. Okay. So maybe I'll put that over here somewhere. Pi divided by 2. Okay. And what else do I want to show you? Well, 25 is too easy. -1. Okay, so there's -1, right? So 25 was -1. That was an easy one. Let me do another one that has a pi, okay? Oh, 29, 2 pi plus 1. Oh. 2 pi plus 1. Okay. In case you're wondering, hey, it looks like he's doing the problems right off the homework. You're right. These are problems right off the homework. Every one I'm doing is one less you're doing. I'm knocking off some of these problems for you. Yeah, good deal. Okay, 2 pi plus 1. No idea. So 2 times pi plus 1. So in this calculator, you can just type it exactly like that, 2 pi plus 1. 7.28. Okay, so I was wrong. I only got up to 5, so I guess I got to go more. Sorry. 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8. So what do we want? 7.28? So that's a little bit more, I guess. Two pi plus 1. All right. Okay, that's that. Okay, if you have questions, you can feel free to put it in the chat. Okay, we're almost done, folks. True or false? So it's got less than, equal to, greater than, equal to. Okay, so just answer true or false. And then after that, express an inequality and show the given interval on a number line. Okay, so no big deal. So I'll do some of these true false. I'll have you do some of these before we're done also. Okay, so 31. -5 is less than -50. So if you think of the number line, right? -5 is here, -50 is way over here somewhere. So that's not true, right? So that's going to be false. And if it's true, false, you can just put T or F. You don't have to write TRUE and FALSE. Make it shorter. Just T or F is fine. Yeah, you have to very clearly tell me that it's true or false. Okay. You know, I know the tricks. I've showed. Have you ever seen this before? Somebody tried this before on true false exam, right? They put something like this. This is a little joke. They wrote it like this, and a slight little stub here, and a little. So that, right? You can make that look like a T or an F, right? So if you come back later and say, oh, there's T right there. There's a T. Oh, there's an F. There's the F right there, right? So you know, none of that. Okay. Or script. I've seen people do script notation for true and false, where you kind of make it look like it could be either one, right? You see something like that. So you can kind of see the T, right? And you can also kind of see an F. So you can argue that, oh, there it is, true, T, right? Or there's an F, right? There's an F, right? So you have to very, very clearly show me true, false. So if I can't tell, right, if it's true or false, I'm marking it wrong. You can't play this trick or play this trick, okay? Very clearly true or false. Okay. All right, so that's that. Okay, what else do I want to show you? 35. 13 over 14 is greater than 15 over 16. I don't know. How do we do that? One way you can do it is to get a common denominator, but I don't feel like doing that. You don't feel like doing that either, right? Well, that's the calculator for it, right? Change them to decimal. Decimal should be able to tell us. So 13 divided by 14.92857. I hope that's enough. 15 divided by 16.9375. Okay, now we can tell, right? So false. And by the way, yeah, here's an example where you should show me work in terms of show me the decimals, right? So if you just show me false or true, then how did you get that, right? So you can either get a common denominator, you know, 14 times 16, which is 224 or whatever. You don't want to do that. Just show me the decimals. Okay. And how do you do something like 39? Again, use your calculator. 2 radical 2 is greater than or equal to 2. So 2 times the square root of 2. 2.828. So that's true. Right? Now, if you have this kind of calculator, you can literally type 2 square root of 2. I'll often say radical 2, radical 2. Now, if you have a regular scientific calculator like this, you might have to go backwards. And what I mean by backwards is you have to do the square root of 2 first. So I'm going to hit 2 and square root button, and then multiply that by 2 times 2. And there's the same thing, 2.828 or whatever. Okay. All right, I'm almost done, folks. So last thing is I'll do some problems from 41 to 53. And then I'm done. Okay. And then on your way out, quote unquote, I'll give you some problems to do. And your path to leave, quote unquote, is put the answer in the chat. So when you put the answer in the chat and I see it, then you can just leave early. It's only about 12:30-ish right now. Okay, good deal. But if you need help, you can always ask Star or me. give you one help with that. Okay, so draw each of the following intervals. Use inequality notation and show the given number. Okay, so I'll do some of these. Okay, 43. Bracket 1, 4. So that means you include the 1, you include the 4. That's what the bracket means. So this is x lies between and including 1 and 4. So bracket means count the endpoints. Parentheses means don't count the endpoints. Here's 1, here's 4. Okay. Now, I like to use the open and closed circles, but if you like using the brackets, that's okay. So 1 and 4, close them both up and shade everything in between. Right? So that's all. How about 45? 0, 3, bracket and a paren. So bracket means count the 0. 3 parentheses means don't count the 3. So 3 is not going to be included, but 2.999999 is in there. Zero, 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should put some negatives also. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 0, 3. Bracket means include 0. But parentheses means don't count the 3. Shade everything in between. Okay, so when I write my double inequality, 0 goes here, 3 goes here. I put a line underneath the 0 one, but not this one. Is that right? So that's the way that one goes. All right. 47. -3 to infinity. So you start at -3 and you shade forever to the right. -1, -2, -3. Am I including -3? There's a parenthesis, so no, I'm not including -3. And then shade to the right. So x is greater than -3. Okay, one more like that, and then I'm done. 53 goes -infinity to pi bracket. -infinity. So I'm shading all the way to the left. Pi is a little bit more than 3, right? 3.1. I'm going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So pi, I'm just going to go a little bit more than pi. Am I including pi? Yes, I am. So close circle and shade everything to the left. So that would be x is less than or equal to pi. All right, and I think I'm done. Now, you look at the homework assignment, 1 to 53 odd. But what have we already done? 1A, 3B, 5A, 5B, 9, right? 11, 15, 19, 21, 29, 31, 35, 43, 45, 47, 53. We've already done a whole bunch of it. Right? You just go back and do the rest. That's going to happen every day. Okay? That's going to happen all these days. And then you use that to study for the exams. Okay? All right, so my lecture part is done. Let me answer the chat, then give you some problems to do, and then we're done for the day. Okay, so let me open up the chat. Let's see. It's mostly, okay, when we turn in the homework, take pictures. Yeah, just take pictures just do it just like I'm doing it, I guess is the best way to say it. Okay, just get your cell phone and, click, 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 click. Same thing for exams. Okay, do you need to do A and B? Yes, do parts A and B of all the homework if there is A and B. Most of you are asking about that you couldn't hear me, and I apologize, there's nothing more I can really do it, but there we go with that. Okay, I think I've caught up with that. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of problems to do right now. Answer me through the chat. I'm not concerned so much that you got it right or wrong, but just that you did it. Okay, and then that's your pass to leave. So once you do that, it's only 12:30ish. When you finish, just put it in the chat and you can leave. Okay, so here we go. Let me get this over here. So right now, for true or false, let me have you do a couple of problems from here. Okay, so I want you to do 33 and 37 in the chat right now. 33 and 37. So when you type it, I know your name. Just type 33 T or F and then 37 T or F, and you're done, and you can leave. Okay, so 33 and 37 right here. Everybody got it? 33, 37. Put it in the chat. If you want to stick around and ask me stuff or ask Star stuff, you may. Otherwise, you can put it down and then you can leave, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, 33 and 37. Just put 33 TF, T or F, and 37 T or F. Okay. And once I get it, you may leave, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to make this disappear in about 15 seconds. If you want to write it down or take a picture on your cell phone, you may now. 33 and 37, please. 33, 37. You don't have to put your name. I got your name. Okay, I'm going to make this disappear in a few more seconds. 33, -2 is less than or equal to -2. 37, 2 pi is less than 6. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll also turn off the recording.